The Hedgeless Horseman here again, the 22nd of 2023, well, 22nd December that is. This is gonna be a flash update or video. We just got an update from Condor resources, and I was going to say it was a bit terrifying because you see it come after the market open on a Thursday of all days. I'm not sure if there's even a holiday on Friday in the Canadian market or something like that, but it's like, okay, Condor completes drill program at the Pucamayo East project, Peru. Short and sweet, no mention of assays, no mention of, no meters, no grades, nothing like that. It's almost, I was gonna say almost funny because like this news release didn't say much at all. Condor is pleased to announce that it concluded the diamond drill program at its Pucamayo East project located in the Ica department, Peru on December the 20th, which was yesterday. The drill program consisted of 2,353 meters in 9 drill holes and was completed in compliance with all yada yada. Sample preparation and delivery for analysis was active during the drill program, and the final sample shipment is expected to be delivered to the lab this week. So the final sample shipment will be delivered to the lab this week. Results of the first 4 drill holes have been received and are currently being compiled and evaluated, with results for the final 5 drill holes not expected until January. Once all results are received, the results will be summarized and released at that time. 6 of the drill holes tested extent of the high sulfidation type epithermal gold and silver mineralized outcropping ledges of breccia and silicification associated with large areas of high sulfide type alteration assemblages, including extensive woogie silica. 3 of the 4 drill holes tested an outcropping area of multi-phase stockwork and alteration interpreted to be a porphyry system associated with anomalous gold and copper. Condor is, and then there, just talks about a company. So it's like, it didn't say much. It was basically an update to say, we've drilled 9 holes, the campaign is complete. We have the results for the first 4 holes. And they're currently being compiled and evaluated, with results for the final 5 drill holes not expected until January. So they are waiting to release all holes at the same time. They will be summarized and released at that time. And 6 of them tested a high sulfidation. 3 of them tested for the porphyry. It is believed that the last 3 holes were relatively short and tested the porphyry mineralization. So okay, like always, well, not like always, but in this case, it didn't say much. I mean, really standard is pleased to announce. I mean, that's, you see crap results and they, start with encouraging whatever. I mean, it's a success in the form that, yes, they're announcing we have completed. I mean, they reached a milestone. But other than that, like, there's not even a single quote. Let's see here, I think. Yeah, here was a quote. This was a very... No, here's actually a quote. So that sticks out. Not a single quote. I'm going to get back to this. So, today we're playing Guess That Hand. Okay, I have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff. Because like in poker, I mean, what you're trying to do in poker is that based on how someone moves, I played online poker, so I couldn't even see the move, but I mean, the idea is the same. It's just that you get even more information in live poker. But it's like, okay, take live poker. The idea is that based on how the person acts, how he moves, how much he bets, how he talks, if he talks at all, is he looking nervous? If he talks, what is he saying? How quickly is he betting? How does he react to whatever? I mean, it all stems from him, the person in question, looking down at the hand. And everything that he does after that, especially, if he has a lot of tells or whatever, is obviously emanating from what hand he has. And you're trying to pick up clues here and there. I mean, basically, it's depending on, how advanced the hand is and what has happened. It's like it can be hard to like exactly pinpoint a hand. But, is he strong? Is he weak? Stuff like that. So, basically, you have a bunch of, let's say, drips of information, of tells. And you're trying to come up with, reverse engineer, let's say, what hand is he looking at that would explain everything he does, what he said, how he bet, how quickly he bet, like, some information might jive with him having whatever, some hand, but it's like, and he does something if a particular card comes at the turn, and that makes you think like, well, that all of a sudden doesn't add up to him having that hand, because now he changed. He wouldn't have acted like that if you think he had the hand you thought he had on the flop. So you have to generate like, okay, what hand is he looking at that will explain all the previous tells and this new tell, or what he did on the turn, for example. So this video will not be, it's like, I don't hope anyone is making any sort of bet, buying or selling based on what's going to be talked about here. I just enjoy this stuff because that's what I'm typically a curious person, and I love to solve puzzles, and I love I guess regression. I don't know what you would call it, but like what's it called? Pattern recognition, let's say. I find it very fascinating. So we have, in Condor's case, for example, and that goes for any news release, really. Most of the time, it's a lot of, there's actually a lot of data, so you kind of have to read, into the rocks, like Hercules Silver, if you remember. That's like, okay, they hit this good of a hole on the first try, and you can read into what the system would be in that case. Not what the, you didn't read too much, how they worded something or stuff like that. But now, with lack of data, the only thing we have to go by is, their communication, which has not left a lot of details. And we're trying to figure out what kind of hand strength, or is Condor looking at, or has been looking at. Obviously, they can act in a certain way if they have, what they see as good visuals, but then when the assays are in, the hand could have changed, it could be more cemented and stuff like that. So it's like, as the hand evolves, it goes up or down in strength and all that. That's going to change how they, interact with the rest of the world, how they word stuff, and yada, yada, yada. So it's like, we're trying to, again, figure out, it's like, are they looking at assays? Aces. Or looking at 7-2 offsuit, which is crap. Are they looking at a pair of jacks, which is pretty good? And anything in between. And the last communication point we have is this news release. Because we don't know. We can read into stuff that has been, but some of that might have changed given there's new information. But let's just ponder some things that have happened. Drill speed, based on the communications via Twitter, most people have concluded that the drill speed, at least for the first, I would say, 6 holes, has been slow. Like, you're probably into very hard rock, which would be like massive silica or vuggy silica, etc. Very hard rock, slow. It takes a long time for the drill to punch through that. So that's a positive. That means, okay, we want to have vuggy silica. It's the, the silica that would be the where the gold and silver is. So that I would say is a positive. And also the attention and I'm gonna get back to this, but it's like they communicated their drill meters, at least for the first 6 holes, I think. So that is obviously a tell, even though it didn't say anything. Let's see here. Maiden drill program. Before that, okay, Pucamayo as well. Pucamayo. So the last one before that was 28th of July. And before that, 23rd of June. I mean, these are positive, obviously. I guess I just assume that they have. I'm just going to check that actually. Have they Condor? Have they posted all news here? June 23rd, yes. June 19, yes. 7th of June, May 31. May. They didn't communicate May. It looks like they've been relatively quiet. It's not until they didn't announce the community access agreement renewed at the Pucamayo project. So maybe they've forgotten almost that they have a Twitter account or whatever. Wait. Oh, okay, so it's just a bit late. Before that, okay, last year, 2021. I mean, let's just say they haven't been very communicative. I think they basically put out news on Twitter. I mean, the news on Twitter. And I don't know how far this goes back. Okay, I mean, they were more active then, but now they haven't been that active, I would say. I might be wrong, but obviously you see it's like, wait, what did they do? Oh, nice. I don't see them talking about, like, I mean, it's mostly news items. Because here, when they actually get into Pucamayo, they, yes, news release, picture of the rig, updates, I mean, they basically, as you can see, I mean, there's basically as much tweets from this campaign as there, was for the 12 months before that, or I think even more than that. So obviously there's a bit of a change in communication, I would say. I mean, typically, and that might, ebb and flow, for example. I mean, after the 5th hole, it's like, they didn't really announce. I mean, we apparently drilled 9 holes. So they didn't even update the last 3 holes. So what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe it went so quickly. I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons. But the fact is that they're obviously trying to bring attention. Basically starting with the 1st hole. So, I mean, the rule of thumb is that you only want attention if you believe, if you need to raise money and need a higher market cap, but these guys don't really need money right now. Because, I mean, their campaign was fully funded. So you don't have the, pumping incentive really. Because you don't need it for this at least, and I don't think they're going to be raising any money soon, so they wouldn't need the pumping for that either. So they're just willingly, whatever they're seeing, again, it's like this is coming from someone who, I don't know who controls this, but someone is looking at the core, and based on what they're seeing, or which I believe is based on what they're seeing, they want to communicate the real. They want eyes on them, because there are companies who like, if the results are going to be really bad, or they believe they're going to be really bad, they just go absolutely quiet. Some juniors even forget in quotation marks to release assays. You can see at juniors like, announce drill start, and months go, years go, and you never saw a news release that they actually put out an assays. So it's basically better to just slide away into oblivion, have people forget about the story, than releasing and officially killing the project, if you know what I mean. Even though it's unofficially it's already killed because they obviously didn't hit anything. So that's a net positive in itself. Sporadic communication. We can look at the news release itself. Again, it's like there is absolutely no spin on this. It's almost the most boring, I was going to say nothing burger, but it's like bland news release I've ever seen. Nothing, and they're not even looking forward, if you know what I mean, to the results. That's what typically people do. And the thing is that the more spin that is used, typically, this is not counterintuitive, but it feels like, I can't back this up with anything, it just feels like typically when you see a lot of spin, that's like, putting lipstick on a pig. Here they're not trying almost in any way, shape or form to get people excited. What they are doing is priming us, or priming the market. This is a news release. They know it will be read. They know it will get them attention. They know what the basics of the news release is, just that once all results are received, the results will be summarized and released at that time, which is sometime in January. They know everybody, so they're basically putting out a news release. They don't need to put out the news release. I've seen plenty of juniors that just drill, don't say anything about completion, or especially here, because this is like, we just completed, but not all holes are in, for example, and they even like, we have the first 4 drill holes. They even announced that. That's, I don't know why they did that, but it's like, we have 4 of the cards in hand already. But this is obviously, they know this news release will be seen. They know it will make people think about Condor, and they're saying all the news releases will come in January, which is not too far away. But that's going to build expectations. This alone is building expectations, because you remind people that they exist and that there are assays coming. That means you want the attention, because as far as I know, there's no requirement that they need to put out news that they completed a 9-hole drill campaign and talk about when people can expect assays. They've probably been hounded, because it's kind of, one of the absolutely most exciting. That's the funny part. It's like 2,353 meters in 9 drill holes. Most juniors, that's like nothing. Okay, we drilled a few holes, whatever. It's like 2-3 deep holes. It's like a nothing burger. In this case, theoretically, they could be releasing a company maker in 9 drill holes. Or at least like, you probably have something. That's not too many companies that can say. Yes, some companies might have a discovery hole. It's like, we hit something, we might need 100,000 holes more. 100,000 meters more to actually drill it up and prove that we have more of what we just hit. So this is very unusual, an unusual target, and that's again the going back to the non-emotional nature of this news release. It's like somebody said that it's like, if this was any other company, any other target type, I would say this looks bad. They are not doing anything. They are not hinting at absolutely anything. And they're waiting for assays to be received. There's a saying, what's the saying? It's like, good assays arrive by train and bad assays with donkeys, or something like that. Assays, bad assays tend to be slow. It's like they I don't know, try to almost wait out the inevitable, whatever. So it's like in any other company, any other target type, I would say this does not look good. But the thing is, it's so weird. We have other contexts like drill depth. A bunch of the holes they drill much deeper than was planned. Is that because they're trying to find a porphyry? Did they hit the porphyry? Is the blanket much thicker? We don't know. But again, they kept on communicating at least about the 6 deep holes. So drill depth, I mean, it's hard to say if it's positive or negative. I would say positive because they kept on doing it. Typically it's like, you have one shot at a more expensive hole and then you just stop doing it, because it's like, what's the point? We're just burning cash. Again, the news release itself, no spin, absolutely no spin. So again, let's try to teleport ourselves and transport ourselves into the beings of the ones who wrote this, into Lyle. Let's become Lyle. What is in the back of your mind? What assay results and visuals are you thinking about when you're writing this? Because this is the most non-bombastic, if you can even say it like that, but I hope you understand what I mean. It's like there's absolutely no real encouragement in this, and no real like hinting at any negative either. It's just the most matter-of-fact news release I think I've ever read. But again, this brings attention. If you were sitting there with 7-2 offsuit, it's shit. It's, well, pretty soon it's Christmas. Would you put this out now and write it like this if the results were underwhelming? That are crap, they didn't find anything. Would you include this? A reminder of that, there's including extensive Vugisilica and all that. It's like this is basically saying, well, this looks like fertile ground. Remember that it was fertile ground, guys. But just stating, the obvious kind of. Because I'm not sure if this means that. First time I read it, I thought, okay, this means that they're hinting that they actually, hit, given that this described with large areas of high sulfidation type of alteration assemblages, including extensive Vugisilica. It wasn't that extensive actually in the outcrops. I mean, someone mentioned that in the forum. So it's like, are they hinting that, trying to almost slip it under the table, I was going to say, that, this is a extensive Vugisilica system. Why? I mean, because we hit it with the drill holes. I don't know. But again, okay, no spin. If you're sitting there, it's like, you have good results, you have a discovery. Would you word it like this? Sure, you could, obviously. if they were really bad, would you word it like this? Yeah, I think you would. I mean, if if they were bad, I think you would perhaps word it like this. But then it wouldn't make that much sense to like remind people about this. Because like test the extent of the with large areas of high sulfidation type alteration assemblages, including extensive boogie silica. Again, I don't know what they're saying, but it's just some stuff fits and some doesn't. This is why this is so hard to read. Maybe get back to that. Okay, yeah, waiting for all assays. Typically, when I see juniors waiting for assays, and bear in mind, it's like I'm very biased here. I own a shit ton of Condor, but typically, and I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. Typically, when assays are slow, like I said earlier, it's because they're kind of waiting. That they drilled X holes and it's like didn't find anything that good, so it's like, oh, we can't release this. We'll wait until you're holding out for better results, hoping for a save. That is possible, but then again, it's like, and they also communicated this latest news release. I mean, they, of course, now they're kind of in the habit of doing it, I guess, but I mean, again, this is so short. It's like drill program, final samples to the lab this week. Not even like final samples shipped to. I mean, they're so extremely tight-lipped. That makes me think that it might actually be good, because it's like it's bullish that you're communicating, because again, it's like most people who want to be seen believe they have something to tell. If a company knew they had shit assays, everything they drilled was shit, they wouldn't be talking how much shit they've drilled. It's like they would hope that people forgot about it, they would wait it out, wait for a better market. They're kind of ramping up expectations, so to speak, but at the same time they're doing their hardest to not say anything. But just the fact that they're doing it is bullish. It's almost like I was gonna say a negative compliment or something. I mean, if you know what I mean. I mean, this is, they know they get eyes on them, and they're saying it's like, I mean, final samples. They didn't even say anything about assays or anything. I mean, it's almost like they feel they have to communicate something, or they feel they should, but without trying to absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's actually, now that the more I think about it, it's like this is the most paranoid news release I've ever read, I think. I mean, it is like, I was gonna say a poker player basically wrote it and is not trying to give away a single tell at all. And then we go back to the idea that's like a lot of the, people want to put lipstick on a pig. But it could also be at the same time that, I mean, there's no, it could also be that, okay, maybe mixed results. We'll get to that later. The news release itself, no spin, very hard. Attention, news release tweets, that's a positive. Waiting for all assays. This one is really hard. Because, again, in my experience, it's like, if you wait for all the assays, it's either you're waiting to get some good results, to hoping for a save, basically, hoping for a save, or it needs the context. I mean, in this case, I would say it kind of absolutely does need the context, because given how the dimensions are, or how we think the dimensions are for this system or these system types, I mean, if you drill 3 holes in a load gold system, nuggety load gold systems, it's like that doesn't mean much. You hit gold at 3 spots, yeah, okay, nice. In this, if you have a triangular, it's like a triangle, for example, like 3 holes in this case, let's say there's like 300 meters each side. That's a huge area of this blanket that you kind of de-risk with just 3 holes. But if you only have like 2 holes, you only de-risk that. So like someone I think said in, you know, the forum that, okay, if they drilled, you know, a line, let's say near the outcrop, it's like, let's say those are the assays they have in. Okay. Let's say you have the 4 first assay. Wait, I'm actually going to pull this up. 1 second here. Maybe we do it like this, Pucamayo or presentations. Let's see here. Geochemistry, silver. Yeah, okay, let's go with this one. So, okay, I can't zoom in really. But here's the, you know, outcropping ledges. If you drill 4 holes along this, you only have 1 dimension. So it's like it you know, the difference between releasing 4 holes that are just along here and 6 holes, for example, with 2 out here or on the other, you know, other side or whatever, that's a huge difference. Because 1 is, again, you only have 1 dimension. We can't, like, yeah, okay, we know it grades like that, but again, if you have a very tight line, the only thing you know that probably exists between these holes, and it's like a drill core, I don't know how wide that is, but that's not wide at all. All of a sudden, if you add a second dimension here, it's like, okay, you step out from this line, you all of a sudden have like, okay, we're talking, you know, 400 or 500 meters this way, 400 or 500 meters this way. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, you kind of perhaps know you have a blanket that's like, oh, this is like 4 or 5 million ounces or more already. So I guess that kind of makes sense actually in this case, because it could be such a, I mean, just the nature of the deposit. And also that, hey, if this is a game, I mean, this could be an absolute game changer for a 70 million market capper. I mean, the hopes is that there's another Pierina there, and that's like, you know, billion plus. It could also be that like the later drill holes are much better, or a bit better, or they think so at least. So they feel better of like, okay, releasing it with just this dimension, for example, with like mixed results, and hope to get the next dimension out in the same news release with maybe even better results. That's also a possibility. I don't remember if I mixed or I missed something. Let's see what they're saying there. Yeah, so this thing that they actually mentioned is, I think that's a small net positive. Drill speed, let's see. This might also be the case. He wants to release complete and thorough review of the results. Period. Can't fall in for that. There are no tells beyond what we already know. Absolutely, there are absolutely no tells. He said it. Well, except the contextual tells, like they're actually communicated about it, and the way they communicated during the drilling. For everything. Okay, Sigmund here. Indeed, an odd news release. For most, I would think it was negative, but for Sin, I don't think it is. I remind you again about the day they just announced their community relations person had resigned. The short release sounded like all was lost. Maybe CN management has uh, our tight ones are getting assays all along. I really doubt they went for a meter on hold fund owner. Said they were not going to go after the porphyry. Yeah, I mean, it's anybody's guess, but it's like how would I explain this? Like, they're communicating without actually communicating much, if you know what I mean. The only clues we've actually had is the meterage and drill speed. That's the only kind of clues to what's like, what do we think they're seeing? What are they hitting? Everything else other than that is just, how are they communicating? How much are they communicating? So it's like, again, this is one of the, final samples to the lab this week. It's not, they even forgot to, add like, final samples are expected to be shipped to the lab this week. It's like they're intentionally making it the most low-key announcements possible. It's like almost, I was gonna say, okay, might sound weird, but it's like, how, let's say, a girl would hit that. It's like, be near your vicinity, but actually not daring to, do anything about it, just hang around you, kinda. It's like, at face value, she's not doing absolutely anything. But if you understand, let's say you understand women, it's like, yeah, she's putting herself in your orbit to like, hey, notice me, some attention here. It's like, read something into it. I wouldn't be here unless I was interested. I wouldn't hang around you if I wasn't interested, but I'm not going to make the first move. That's what this feels like. It's like trying to bring attention, but posting and writing stuff that actually says nothing at all, if you know what I mean. It's like, split personality almost. So the question is, what could explain that? What hands are they sitting with? What hand are they looking at? Do they think this will be a great disappointment? It doesn't feel like you would communicate like this if it was, But I gotta say, it's like, if there was any other company, any other target type, because there have been examples actually where it's like, if I remember correctly, where juniors have put out very cryptic short news releases, and it turned out to be, barn burner results, or like, something that, a real game changer, not just that they hit some sniffs, but it's like a real game changer. But it's almost like, trying to avoid that, somebody starts digging or something, that's like trying their hardest not to really say much, and it's like, there should be no leaks, etc. And obviously, I would think that they would care more about that to the upside and the downside, because they still have, money. They're a prospect generator. They could kind of go back. So it's like business as usual almost, because this wasn't the most expensive drill campaign really. I don't think they blew out their treasury, and I think they have money coming in soon from another junior. So that's what sticks out to me, that they're putting themselves out there without saying anything. That is really unusual. Usually, if it's really bad, they wouldn't really be putting themselves out there. They typically want you to forget about their drill campaign. These guys are not trying to make you forget about the fact that they have been drilling. They just pretend like they don't want you to, if you know what I mean. Reacting very coy. It's like hard to get. Let's see if we had some other. Yeah, what he's saying is, stop bugging us. I know you're impatient, but I'd like to get a full assay results first, evaluate and give you the full picture. Merry Christmas. That's also one thing. It's like the timing. We know there's, I was going to say, everybody knows Christmas is coming up. You get news releases or send-outs from companies like wishing you a Merry Christmas, yada, yada, yada. So everybody knows that you want to get a good Christmas present. Nobody wants to get coal in their stocking. So it's makes it again a bit more weird that they're like, hey, we have something we have drilled. We're waiting for assays, but they put this out just before Christmas. It's like if they knew they were really bad, would they put this news release out? And it's like, wait for January, guys. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going in circles here. But actually, I mean, when we think about it, it's like drill speed typically slow. Yes, that is actually would be an encouraging sign because it means they're probably in, highly silicified rocks, sporadic communication. But it's like, yeah, sporadic communication, but yeah, they're certainly they certainly want people's eyes on this drill campaign. And have been for at least the 6 first holes, because that's interesting. The last 3 holes were not really communicated. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that they weren't really that good, or they were just too short, or does that mean that the first 5, 6, which they communicated more about, were actually really good? Drill depth. Interesting, at least. I mean, I doubt that you just keep punching these deep holes unless you're have a good reason for it. I mean, if they don't find any high sulfidation, why would they just keep slamming deeper holes to find a porphyry? Is that a Hail Mary stuff? Maybe. But if that was the case, would you communicate like I doubt every one of these holes started in the porphyry. So why would they communicate? Like there's a big deal that what was the first ones. Yeah, okay, not the biggest thing, but it's like 200 meters. Would that be down to the porphyry? I don't know. So that doesn't exactly jive with it being like they're expecting bad news. Anything else? Yeah, no. I guess I'm about to wrap this up. It feels like almost I left this more confused. I, as you can tell, it's like I am not sure. I just have a hard time believing what I think at least. What I think, thankfully, what I think at least is that they don't expect. I mean, they have the 4 assays, the first 4 assays, so they already know half the picture when they put this news release out. I don't think you would put out a news release like that, like, yeah, guys, yeah, it's coming, wait for assays, unless you thought it was actually something worth the wait. Because otherwise, again, they are every communication they do about this is priming the market's expectations, or priming the markets, like get ready, get ready, get ready. I don't think companies typically do that, from what I've seen, if they expect the news to be bad, because they also know, most of them know, markets moves on expectations, kind of. It's like if expectations are high, or people are excited and the results are bad, I mean, that's just going to be a bigger crash. So it would be weird for them to, let's say they have 4 assays, they're like bad, like really bad, and they're like, yeah, we get assays soon, except for if that, like, they've been hounded so much, and we're gonna do that. But then again, it's like, yeah, you communicate that just before Christmas. That's like, wait, guys, I mean, that's almost like you're giving away a shitty present for people just before Christmas. So that feels a bit weird, actually, when I think about it as well. Yeah, so I mean, I am leaning at least that I don't think they believe, or they are looking at dusters. I don't think they know it's gonna be bad. I'm leaning between positive and mixed results, actually. I mean, that's also what I want to believe, but it's like I just can't. I just can't see them even posting this tweet, this very, I was gonna say not cryptic, but like low effort tweet if they knew it was gonna be bad. It's like, imagine you're sitting there, you're looking at shitty assays. I mean, they could have chosen not to communicate on Twitter. So would you be sitting there typing this news release if you're typing this on your computer and you're just to the right of you, you have like a spreadsheet where it's like, oh Jesus, dusters, oh Jesus. Would you even remind people on Twitter that the whole the campaign has been completed, final samples? I mean, that's, you kind of, if you put it out, people's expectations are gonna go higher. So it's like, yeah, it's really doing people a disservice. If you knew you had pain coming, would you try to attract attention in that case? It's like, yeah, guys, just wait for the assays. Just wait until I shiv you in the kidney. That's a bit weird, I would say. Because they are typically not that talkative. So that just, I mean, the bottom line is that they are communicating. That's what I keep coming back to. They are communicating, and most companies that knows the results will be shit, they try to get attention away from the current real campaign, typically with either other kind of news, or just stay quiet, or if they know they want to raise money or whatever, something like that, then they would spin the shit out of the coming results and raise money on that. That's, in my experience, that's typically how it gets done. Either you spin it like crazy to get people excited, to like, hey, we're gonna raise money now. I mean, you could be a part of something, a major discovery, so you better get in now, when they might, think that, hey, we're probably not gonna have anything really good to release. So it's like, in order for us to keep having our salaries, we better raise money now when there is money available, because they don't know that we missed everything and they're gonna be down 40% over the next month or so. So this is no spin at all. Yeah, I think if I had to guess, I think it's gonna be either mixed results or positive, actually. And the thing is, I could be wrong, but also this is just for fun, because there's no way one can read enough into this, I think, because we have no idea. There's a bunch of different scenarios which might kind of look the same in how they play their hands. Like, it's so material that you need some breathing room and want to wait for more dimensions as well. Could be that some holes are worse, they expect some of the later ones to be even better, so they really want to shock the market. Because typically companies like to shock the market. They want the best headline number possible. So if they think there are even better holes, and they can, they're drooling when they, imagine the news release, like Condor drills, 120 meters of like, 2 grams per ton or something like that. I can see that as well, that they really want to, because it's such a short campaign anyway, and it's just, we're already on the 21st of December, so it's not like it's a long time from or until we get assays. But yeah, I would say I'm leaning towards positive, mixed results to positive. And it could go all the way to, yes, barn burner results, slam dunk discovery, this is gonna be bought for $1 billion. It's like anything in between that. I do, however, lean towards this. I do not lean towards this being actually negative. Any other company, and where I would be less biased perhaps, I would see this as a bad thing. But everything else, the context and how, again, it's like they're so non-hypey that it's starting to, the spider senses are starting to tingle because they're both non-hypey but hypey at the same time. So it always yeah, I think I talked about this already. It feels like they've been trying to hint like guys, we're saying something here, we're hitting something without saying that they are. And that was almost the fact is like there's not even a quote. I mean, they could have said like, I mean, anything really. I mean, they know this is gonna come out of nowhere because we have no indication. They haven't, there's no quote like, oh, we hit some whatever. It's like one hole had 100 meters of alteration or anything like that. So absolutely nothing. They're not even, I mean, they're not even feeding false hope, if you know what I mean. And give specifically with this company the way they're communicating and the target type, this is what it makes it weird. Any other company, it would be yeah, and again that they're priming the market. They make a news release like, hold on until January, guys. They're setting up expectations, and they're not trying to hype it on the way. They're just saying, hold on until January. Yeah, no, I might, I have no, I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I'm actually, I think this, I'm leaning towards at least mixed results, and open-ended to positive or very positive. Yeah, and it's like, okay, they have the assay results in. I mean, today I wouldn't read much in at all. It's like there might be someone who had an inkling that there, might not be results, but it's like this is not a very short. They might be incredibly tight-lipped, but it's like, I mean, if anything, like yesterday, it's multi-year highs. So if anything, this obviously has a very positive skew on it. We have no idea if if somebody knows anything or something like that, but this is not screaming that they have 4 of the assays, somebody knows, and they're getting hell out of Dodge. Now there might be a reaction. It's like, oh, we get to wait for January. That people were maybe some people bought just for, it's like, oh, the results are going to be out just before Christmas. I hope to have a good Christmas present, and they get a bit impatient just because there might be, I don't know, a few weeks left or something. But, and another thing, by the way, that I forgot about. I know a lot, I've talked to like companies who are like, say specifically, if they don't have what they want to have out before Christmas, or even close to Christmas, they prefer to wait for the new year to release it. That's also one thing. That's basically, the new year is like a mega Monday. So they're saying we're gonna release this in January. That is after the holidays, when everybody is back, because now some people might have already left. There's going to be people prepared for whatever. It's like people are divided. It's still tax loss selling season, whatever. So waiting to release something in January, that's also not, I almost forgot about that, is typically, I think, I mean, from what my experience is that companies do that. They even prefer to hold out news. Even if they kind of almost, I think, could have announced it almost at any time or something, that they prefer to wait for the new year, when everybody's back at the office after the holidays, when everybody's focused on the next big thing the next year, the next big thing next year, or in the new year, and release it then. So now that I think about it, that's actually I think I'm gonna put that on the positive. But it could also be that they expect the later holes to be good, and if they can't get those out just before Christmas, they prefer to release with possibly even better holes into after the new year when everybody's back. Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. So, conclusion, mixed to positive results is what I'm reading into this. And I don't think I will be adjusting my portfolio, my size at all. I mean, if it actually goes down, I might actually add a bit. But it's like I'm on the cautiously optimistic side, actually. Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm highly biased, by the way. Highly biased. And I might be wrong on all of this, but those are my 2 cents. Thanks for listening. Bye.